Oh, quit your yelling. I tried to warn you, Sammy. The sheriff said through the echoes of the shots still resonating through the camp. I dropped to my knees and screamed into the snow until I had burst every capillary in my face. Jesus Christ, son, the sheriff said in disgust. Enough theatrics. I didn't even act like this when your mother died. You killed her! I screamed at him. You murdered her! He shrugged. I've killed a lot of people. Although, I must say I do regret that I'm not gonna get a turn with her again. Usually, I don't like redheads. But there was something about her. Like father, like son, I guess.
I told her not to come. I told her not to come. I mumbled, barely coherent.
Shut up, shut up, shut the fuck up! I screamed at him. Greg took a step towards me, but my father stopped him with a hand. Let him throw his tantrum. He did the same thing when I took away his toys as a child. This ain't no different. Richard stepped over Kimber's lifeless body and exchanged a few quiet words with the sheriff. I couldn't hear them over the dry heaving of my stomach, which didn't stop until my abdomen muscles ached from the force of them. Richards just had an interesting idea. You're in for a real treat, Sam. Get him up, the sheriff said to the men behind me. They hauled me to my feet and shoved me in the direction of my father. I stumbled but didn't fall. We don't use it too much anymore on account of the noise, but how about we throw your girlfriend's body into the shiny gentleman and scatter her bone fragments all over the mountain?
Slap me on the back.
That way, she can be here at the mine for all eternity. I bet she'd like that.
I was shaking so violently I could barely wipe the blood out of my eyes. No, I said, and fell back down to my knees in the snow.
No. Are you sure? He asked.
I could hear the smile in his voice. No. No, please. My voice broke over the words. The sheriff's smile fell into a look of distaste.
Don't beg. It makes you look weak. Get off your fucking knees.
Please don't touch her.
You know what your problem is, Sam? You're not man enough to take what you want. You're not strong enough to say, fuck what's polite. Fuck the consequences. Fuck the law. You're a fucking cop.
I choked.
See? Now there's a bit of spirit. Sometimes in life you just have to claim what should be yours. That's what society's built on. Now our operation may not work within the laws of the land, but we sure as hell work within the government.
But Whitney, look what it did to her, this place.
I ain't gonna tell you again, boy. Keep my daughter's name out of your mouth.
Which daughter? The sheriff sneered.
What can I say? Whitney is a beautiful name.
It's sick. You're sick. You need help.
I have help. Look around, Sammy.
He gestured to the 14 men standing in a half circle around me.
I am a sultan. These are my governors, and that is my harem. Go fuck yourself. He sighed. I'm starting to think you're not going to come around, Sam.
I'll never be part of this. I'll never stop trying to kill you.
I'm real sorry to hear that. That's a pity. Looks like we're going to have to break you in like a horse. I kind of wish I'd left the Distaro girl alive now.
Fuck you.
You say another fucking word like that to me, and I'm going to execute you right here on your fucking knees.
The sheriff's men seemed to lean in, smelling blood in the water. I knew this was it. If you wanted me dead, you would have already shot me.
You sure about that? The sheriff asked and leveled his gun at my forehead. Why don't you pull that gun on me and find out?
Oh, I'm sure about that. You need me. Through the sea of your bullshit, I see the truth. It's a pride thing. You want your son taking over your business. You want another Walker in charge.
The sheriff's mouth spread into a wide smile.
But he didn't lower his gun.
I can make another son.
You could. But you want me. You want to break me, you want to mold me into you because that way you win.
Oh, I've already won, Sam.
No. I have. You're a slave to your own fucking hubris. I can say and do whatever I want, and your pride won't allow you to kill me.
Maybe not.
The sheriff shrugged and dropped the barrel of his gun to my chest.
But I can break your fucking ribs with a bullet.
I heard the shot, but I didn't feel it enter my body. I instinctively put my hands over the entry wound in my chest. I didn't have to feel it to know it was there. Sound was pulsating in and out of my ears in time to my deceptively calm heartbeat. But through the waves of sound and silence, I could hear them laughing.
Hurts like a fucking bitch, doesn't it?
Sheriff laughed.
A shot to a ballistics vest hurts a hell of a lot more than a kick with a steel-toed boot. But of course, your ribs were already broken, so that must really sting.
I knew I was going into shock. I pulled my hands away from my jacket and saw that they were covered in thick, warm blood. The laughing died immediately, and the sheriff took a step in my direction.
What in the hell?
He asked. Fuck you.
By the time he put it all together and looked over at her, Kimber was already standing where they'd left her discarded in the snow. She was staring at the sheriff down the sight of the Beretta, and before anyone could react,
Kimber squeezed the trigger and killed her monster.
the bullet went through the sheriff's eye and out the back of his head, where it buried itself in the wood of the building behind him. Before his body even hit the ground, guns were pulled from every side, and men loyal to the money had taken control of the men loyal to fear.
Jimmy Prescott had somehow come through.
Holy fucking shit, kid, you did it!
Prescott said, taking a sip of coffee and stepping over my father's body.
I mean, I think that wound is probably fatal, but, you know, don't let that take away from your accomplishment. Hell, I'll even name a wing after you. He gestured to the dorm behind him.
Take the gun off Kimber, I demanded. I knew I didn't have much time to play my trump card.
Ortiz, what the fuck? Jimmy said. Quit pointing that shit at the hero of the day.
The man closest to Kimber lowered his gun. She doubled over then, clearly in enough pain of her own.
It's broken bones, Jimmy nodded,
reading the thoughts on my face.
Your daddy shot her with a .457, which, well, you know, he shot you too. It's a pretty big bullet. She might actually be bleeding, but she'll be fine. You, on the other hand.
I strained against the darkness. I needed to tell Jimmy something. What was it?
Yes. My insurance policy to make sure Kimber left this place alive. So you talked all that shit, and you weren't even armed. You had nothing on you. You sure you don't want to come work for me?
I did. I did have something on me.
Oh yeah? What's that?
This. I pulled out the small remote control and dropped it in the snow in front of me. Jimmy laughed.
What the fuck is that?
It's a remote. For the video cameras.
What the fuck are you talking about, kid? What cameras?
For the first time since I'd met him, Jimmy looked rattled. Those cameras. I pointed up into the trees, where a dozen small cameras blended into the dark branches, their blinking red lights, all but invisible. I need to stop the bleeding.
Are you fucking kidding me? You shit-eating donkey cunt, are you fucking joking? You better be joking because I will put the bullet in your head that your daddy couldn't.
He raised a gun to my face, but seemed conflicted. If he believed me about the cameras, I knew he couldn't shoot me. It all came down to my ability to bullshit.
I'll just take those cameras down and break them like they were never there,
he said and cocked the gun that he was holding in my face. They're on a live feed, asshole, I said. Jimmy's face twitched a few times before he lost it and hurled his cup of coffee at the building behind him.
Fuck! Fuck you!
Video streaming back to a laptop in Chicago. It's over. Jimmy's men looked uneasily at one another.
Fuck this,
Greg said finally, and dropped the gun he was using to hold one of my dad's men hostage. They scattered like roaches to all sides of the camp,
starting their trucks and speeding off down the mountain.
Jimmy was already on the phone with someone as he dug into his pocket for his keys.
Delete it! All of it! Get it off the DHS internet and make sure it's gone for fucking ever! I don't give a shit where you are. We need the database gone now, like it never fucking existed. No. Fuck the fucking backups, delete it all!
Jimmy threw his phone on the ground and shot it 4 times with his gun. He ran to a nearby trunk and ripped the door open.
Prescott!
I shouted hoarsely. Jimmy paused before he slammed the door and glared at me.
Kyle Landy. Was all that bullshit?
Jimmy's glare contorted into a bitter smile.
Where is he? Where's Kyle?
You fuckers will believe anything, he sneered before he slammed his car door and sped off down the mountain. The last of my energy expended. I fell forward in the snow with my back to the sheriff's body. I could see a mess of Kimber's red curls over the top of my arm, but she was too far away.
Kimber,
I gasped the blood in my mouth, but she didn't hear. With my strength running out like sand in an hourglass, I pulled my phone from my jacket and dialed Seth's number. He answered on the first ring.
Tell me.
It worked.
She's alive. I'm
alive.
The high school. Those sick fucks host all the records
on the school server. Drisking High.
Drisking High, got it.
Can you get in?
I'm working on it. The database is going to be locked down, secure as fuck, but like I said the other day, I'm pretty good at what I do.
I don't know what the file will be called, I muttered and dropped the phone down next to me, where it sunk into the snow. I faded in and out for a few minutes trying to hold on.
I got it.
Seth said finally.
I just looked for the most buried shit on the server. They're scrubbing it fast, man, but I got it. They definitely know I'm here, though.
I felt myself pulling away from my body.
Fuck me. There's some serious heavy hitters in here. I can't believe they kept it all on the school server. What fucking assholes.
I could barely hear Seth anymore.
Hey. You okay, bro? Tam?
And then I was alone. The clock read 1:32 a.m. I turned the car on again, Kimber muttered her approval and laid her face next to the heater.
She gently banged her forehead against the dashboard. "We're getting fucking nowhere," she said. She was right.
We had been arguing for hours and still agreed on nothing. The mission was suicide, no matter how we went about it. So we were really just arguing how many of us should die, and in what order. They're gonna kill you if they see you. Period. Those guys have no reason to let you live.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that, but how are you going to shoot anybody when you have one bullet and they know you're coming anyway?
And they know about the bulletproof vest.
And they know about the bulletproof vest, making it absolutely worthless.
Yep. I leaned my head back against the headrest and closed my eyes. I just wanted to sleep.
We need more time. At least another day.
If we don't come to them in the morning, they'll come to us.
And kill us either way.
Right. We're dead in every scenario. Kimber suddenly sat up.
Unless...
I turned my head to look at her through one eye. Unless what?
Unless we do something stupid.
Oh,
Kimber, that ship has fucking sailed. No, listen, I'm serious. You wear the vest. And give me the gun.
split up the vest and the gun.
Yeah, they won't expect that.
Yeah, because it's fucking stupid. As soon as one of us pulls out the gun, they're going to get shot.
So, if that's the plan, I'd rather you wear the vest. But I need the gun.
Then wear both.
No, that's... Well, actually, that's pretty brilliant.
I gave her a dubious look. What are you thinking?
Hear me out. I'm going to get shot either way. And that actually puts us at an advantage. Let him shoot me. And then once they've forgotten about me, and they're not paying attention to me anymore, I'll shoot him.
Well, you're banking on the fact that they don't search us when we get to Borrasca.
Yeah?
And that they won't just shoot you in the head.
Granted?
And also that they'll shoot you at all.
I mean, they could just...
keep you there.
Okay?
Finally, that Jimmy will, or even can, take control of the situation like he promised. Kimber nodded.
Okay, all acceptable risks.
She smiled. You're high, Kimber.
I'm fucking not. But are you? Because for this to work, I'm gonna need you to streep the shit out of this.
I wish. Kimber raised an eyebrow.
That package didn't have drugs in it. You know. What?
Sorry, but I couldn't tell you at the time. You would have realized I was going without you.
You're a dick, Sam Walker. So what did it have in it?
I shrugged. It was a care package from Seth. He sent me video cameras.
Why? For what?
Remember the night I disappeared with the car for several hours?
Kimber's eyes narrowed. Yes?
I used the directions Jimmy Prescott gave me to find Borrasca too.
Oh, please don't call it that. Also, please tell me you're fucking joking.
Sorry.
No,
I'm not.
I couldn't see much or hear anything, but I was there.
I know the way. It's the reason we're parked here on this road right now.
I can't believe you went to Borrasca. I can't believe you, Sam. That's madness.
Yeah.
I realized that too late. And the whole thing took me longer than it should have because
I had to be fucking stealthy, which I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not a graceful person. And I had to climb fucking trees to Velcro that shit down. Oh, I had to find the place.
So holy shit. We're going to have actual footage from the mine? That's brilliant.
Not exactly. They're dummy cameras.
What does that mean? They're not real?
Yeah. They're sold as, like, deterrents.
But then, why would you risk that? Why even bother putting up deterrents?
To, deter. Deter anyone from murdering me.
Oh, damn it. I really wish they were real.
Yeah, me too. But there's no way I could have installed something like that.
Fuck. If we had film, we wouldn't even need the Borrasca records.
Seth thinks that if we can figure out where the files are, he might be able to get in and download them. Kimber sighed.
So many ifs.
So you really want to get shot, huh?
I think it's the best plan we've got. Maybe I'll just stumble into camp later than you, get caught. That way they'll assume you have the gun. I was just being careless. Sam. She was shaking me.
I had drifted off.
Sam, wake up.
Wake up!
Wake up! Good afternoon, Mr. Walker. I'm sorry to wake you, but the detectives have been asking to interview you since yesterday. I'm afraid they're very insistent.
I tried to focus on the woman standing next to me. Everything was very white. Where am I?
Drisking Regional. I'm Dr. Clava, and since you're going to be speaking to two of the rudest men, I'm going to up your morphine a smidge.
I blinked a few times against the bright lights that stung my eyes. No. No morphine. Please, take me off of it.
Are you sure? You're going to be in a bit of pain if I do that,
she said as she walked over to the IV drip.
Yeah, turn it off.
Where's Kimber? How's she doing? Also, how am I not dead?
I'm not Kimber's doctor, so I'm not sure who you're talking about. As for your survival, you owe that to a rather skilled surgeon on staff here.
I could already feel pain radiating from my chest below my heart. Is there any way you can make it any darker in here?
Absolutely,
she replied as she walked over to the door and turned down the lights.
Good luck. A nurse will be by later to check on you.
I didn't recognize the two men who pushed past Dr. Clava in the doorway. They were serious-looking men, with a dry air of immediacy about them.
Sam Walker. My name is Agent Grant. This is Special Agent Tripping. We're with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. How are you feeling?
I'm fine. My voice sounded strained. I tried to sit up. When it was clear I wasn't going to make it, Agent Grant grabbed my arm to steady me and pointed to the remote control at the edge of the bed. I held the raise button until the bed sat up level with the two men.
We're here because you were found unconscious and near death at a crime scene, along with a 27-year-old woman and the corpse of the county sheriff.
Sounds about right, I said, and rubbed my face. I winced as I brushed my nose. He had set the bones, but it was still very tender. I didn't even want to see my chest.
Can you comment on the events that led you to that location?
Agent Grant said.
Trippine remained silent.
Sure. I'd fucking love to, but first, I really need to know where Kimber is.
She is in federal custody, giving her own statement.
And what happened to all the women at the mine? The people who were imprisoned there.
The victims have all been removed from the scene.
Why are you only talking to me now? I tried to contact the feds for years about Borrasca.
Is that the local name for the trafficking group?
Sort of. I winced at the stab of pain that ricocheted from my spine to my ribs.
We don't have any record of you contacting the FBI at any time.
Yeah, well, I did.
And that will be addressed. An internal investigation has been opened due to the, shall we say, sensitive information leaked by the press on Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
They received some sort of press packet. Do you know something about that? Trippin finally spoke.
I know nothing about that, but I do know a lot about everything else. I wanted to laugh. This was ludicrous. I was alive. The sheriff was dead. Borrasca was gone, and everybody associated with it was going down. It was almost everything Kimber had wished for. It couldn't be really happening. The detectives pulled 2 chairs that were set back along the wall up to the bed.
Do you mind if we record you?
Fuck no. I want all of this on record.
All right.
Grant started, setting a recorder on the bed next to my leg.
Tell us about your father.
I stood outside of one of the massive tents the feds had erected on the tarmac of Drisking's small airport. He was old, crumbling, and abandoned. But they were sure as hell landing shit here now. Grant had promised Kimber to me within the hour, and I nervously smoked a cigarette in the cold while waiting outside the giant tent. They told me they'd need to hold her longer than me because Kimber had admitted to shooting a law enforcement officer. Grant said the prosecutor would almost certainly decline to press charges due to the circumstances rapidly coming to light. But still, it was early days, and the waters were murky. We'd no longer be in custody, but we weren't allowed to leave the town either. I pulled my jacket tighter as the wind cut down the thoroughfares and alleyways of the sprawling tent city. Or as Grant had referred to it, Central Ops. Special Agent Trippin had given me the thick brown duster I was currently wearing, since my own jacket had been taken in as evidence. Which didn't bother me, because this coat was warmer anyway.
Sam? Sam!
I turned around just as Kimber jumped on me, wrapping her arms around my back and squeezing tightly. I buckled, grunting in pain and trying not to drop her. Kimber released me immediately.
I'm sorry, I forgot about your shot.
Well, you fucking reminded me. I winced. Trippin walked up from behind Kimber and nodded at me.
You can go. There's a Ford Explorer you can use parked off of Draper across from the mobile command unit. Here are the keys. Don't leave town.
Don't talk to the media or the local...
In fact, don't talk to anybody.
We found the car right where he'd said, and climbed in. Slammed the doors on the biting wind. You're gonna have to drive, said. I don't think I can make it.
Don't they have you on any painkillers? Kimber asked.
Prescription Tylenol.
Oh my god! I want to cry for you. But still, good for you, Sam.
She smiled at me and pulled out onto the road.
Honestly, I can't believe they discharged you from the hospital after only a few days. You got shot in the chest.
But yeah, I'm aware of that.
But they had to.
The hospitals are full. Every hospital within 50 miles, and a mobile one for the least severe cases is what I was told.
Holy shit. How many women were there at Borrasca?
You don't know?
No. They wouldn't tell me anything. They even took the TV out of the hotel room they had me in.
132. Kimber gasped. That was my reaction too.
But there were never that many when I was there. Maybe 60 at the most.
I guess he wasn't lying. The sheriff really was a businessman.
Turn here. Emphasis on the was.
Kimber smiled. I couldn't fault her for being happy he was dead. And even though he was my father, I was happy too. So, they didn't tell you anything, huh?
The only thing that they would tell me is that you were alive. And that's only because I started throwing cutlery at them.
No.
Well, I'll give you the news then. Every major news outlet got a copy of the Borrasca records on Friday, and the files were apparently very detailed. Open investigations were triggered across the map. Fucking A!
Yeah. And they caught everybody that was on payroll, including Jimmy Prescott.
What? They caught him already?
Grant said he didn't even last a day.
What an asshole!
And I've been really wanting to tell you. That was a beautiful shot you made.
Oh. I've made that shot 1,000 times. This is the first time that my target was actually in the flesh, though. And hey, congrats on taking a bullet and living through it like a fucking champ.
Yeah, turn right.
Yeah, who knew I would excel at getting shot? I wonder what sort of career I could make out of that. Kimber shrugged. Bullet tester? It was different now.
Gone was the anxious, despondent version of her that I had come to know in the past few weeks. This was Kimber, as I remembered her before her mother died. Happy, unburdened, hopeful. I couldn't believe that I was about to strip it away from her. But she deserved to know. Take another right up here.
Where are we going?
You'll see. Kimber's smile wavered.
Not sure if I like that at all.
At the end of this street, we're looking for house number 445.
There,
She said, and pointed to a spot at the front of a large, Gothic-style house.
this place is off-putting. What is it?
It's a group home.
A group home? What for?
I didn't say anything, but watched her carefully. Kimber sobered.
I don't... You mean...
Her hands, which were tucked back into her sleeves, suddenly covered her mouth as she realized why we were here. Kimber began to shake her head.
But Jimmy said... I heard him say...
Contrary to Jimmy Prescott's last words to me, I don't believe everything he says. I took a deep breath. The Landys left town with just about everybody else 2 days ago. According to Grant, they didn't take their oldest son with them. Just Parker. Kimber continued to stare at the house with her hands over her mouth. She looked like she was about to cry. And, they continued, Grant ordered Kyle's caretaker to stop giving him his daily meds until they could get a hold of his doctor, who skipped town with the rest of Drisking.
So Kyle is inside? And he's been off his medication for
days. Which means if he has been sedated for all this time, like Jimmy said, he might not be anymore. Kimber coughed into her hands, but it sounded more like a suppressed sob. Put my arm around her. You okay? Pulled her hands away from her mouth and shook them loose of her sleeves, then reached for the key and turned the car off.
I'm fine. I'm ready.
Good. Let's go get our boy. We rang the bell in the house, and a young woman answered, looking frazzled and annoyed. Hi, we're looking to see Kyle Landy.
Landy? Are you family? She asked, brushing unkempt brown hair back from her face. Yeah, we're family, Kimber said. The woman crossed her arms and leaned against the door jamb. Kyle's family hasn't visited once in all the years he's been here? Are you on his authorized visitation list?
I doubt it. I laughed.
But we're coming in anyway, Kimber added, mimicking the woman's defiant pose. She sighed and dropped her arms. Fine, I don't care. I'm the only one here. Everybody else has left town because of the scandal.
She moved aside and we walked into the foyer. The woman closed the door behind us and gestured up the grand staircase.
He's in his room. Second door on the left.
We turned to go.
Oh, and please remember that he's nonverbal, so don't expect him to talk to you or move or anything. If you want me to bring him downstairs, let me know. I'll get the key to the elevator. Fine, thanks,
Kimber said to the air behind her as she climbed the stairs. I followed behind her, more slowly, taking deep, measured breaths. Please. Kyle, please. Please be real. By the time I got to the top of the stairs, Kimber was standing in the open doorway of Kyle's room, as if she couldn't bear to go any further. She was crying softly into her hands, and when she turned and saw me, she began shaking her head.
I can't. I just can't, Sam.
I walked over and gave Kimber a hug. It's okay. Okay, it'll be fine, I said into her hair. It took a few moments to mentally prepare before I finally turned around and glanced into the room. Kyle was in his wheelchair, which was facing the bed, and he was staring straight ahead at the swirling oak of the wall in front of him. He didn't react to our voices or move in the slightest. I couldn't be sure he was even blinking. I released Kimber and walked slowly into the room. I sat down on the edge of the bed in front of Kyle to study him. His injuries had all healed, other than his nose, which remained out of place and broken. He was wearing flannel pants and nondescript white t-shirt and socks. His hair was long and a red beard covered the bottom half of his face. His eyes were fixed over my shoulder, lazily settled on the wall behind me.
Kyle?
I said as I moved into his line of vision. Sam. He blinked. Kyle's eyes seemed to try and focus on me. But when I moved, they didn't follow. I could see there was no one behind them. But I couldn't accept it. Not after all we'd been through.
Kyle, please fucking tell me you're in there,
I begged. But there was nothing to show that he'd understood. His eyes glazed over, and I knew that what remained of Kyle was only the barest of brain function.
Fuck, I swore. Kimber was now openly sobbing. Stop. Sam, stop.
I worked to get a hold of myself. Over the last 2 days, I
Convinced myself that there was more to Kyle than I had been led to believe the last time I'd seen him. I needed him to be more than a soulless vegetable that I'd left behind, but being confronted with that human shell in front of me made the truth hurt even more. I stood up from the bed and walked over to the window
to watch the snow fall outside. A new powder to cover this place.
We had come so far, but not far enough. We'd won in almost every conceivable way on the barest of odds, but it still wasn't enough. I wanted Kyle back too. I wanted to be whole. I heard Kimber leave the doorway and turn to watch her sit in front of Kyle.
She took his limp hand into hers and held them while she softly told him she missed him and she loved him. Then she laid her head on his lap and continued to whisper to Kyle through her tears. I turned back to watch the snow fall. And then I heard a voice I hadn't heard spoken since the day I told Jimmy Prescott to go fuck himself. 10 years before, on the now silent mountain. Kimber?